O-Level Biology 5090, Chapter 10, Respiration. First of all, we will discuss the definition of respiration. And respiration is the oxidation of food substance with the release of energy. Or complex food particles are broken down into simple molecules with the help of oxygen. It means the process of respiration during which we take in the oxygen, we inhale oxygen, and then that oxygen breaks down the food into simple components, that is carbon dioxide and water. And as a result of this reaction, a lots of energy is released. So in this way, we can say that oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is taken out, and we inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. So as a result of inhaling of oxygen, this oxygen will breaks down the food. It will breaks down the food, and then due to breakdown, there will be the formation of carbon dioxide and water plus lots of energy. So this is called as respiration. And respiration, energy is released during this. So there are so many uses of this energy in the body. So we will discuss the uses of energy. The first use of energy is the muscle contraction. Muscle contraction means that our body muscles, there has to perform different functions. When the muscles perform different functions, the contraction and relaxation of those muscles takes place. As for example, if we move from one place to the other, or if we want to pick up any object, at that time, energy is needed. So for muscle contractions or for reflex action, energy is needed. So energy is needed for muscle contraction. So the energy which is produced as a result of respiration is used in muscular contractions and movement, and then synthesis of molecules. And students, in our body, synthesis of larger molecules or macromolecules takes place with the help of smaller molecules. Air, for example, the formation of proteins from the amino acids and the formation of DNA molecule or DNA replication, all this takes place with the help of energy. So energy is obtained from respiration. Growth, our growth of our body and development, it takes place. So to grow or to for development, energy is needed. Again, this energy is obtained from respiration. Cell division, one cell divides into two cells. So when cell has to divide, then at that time, again, energy is required. If no energy, no cell division, no proper cell division, you can say that. Active transport. Active transport, the molecules and ions move from lower concentration towards the higher concentration, or we can say that against the concentration gradient. If they are moving against the concentration gradient, again energy is used or energy is required. Then homeostasis, to maintain our internal environment of the body. Maintenance of internal environment of a body is homeostasis. So to keep our environment maintained, energy is required. And transmission of nerve impulses or message, the transmission of our nerve impulses from different parts of the body towards the central nervous system, or from central nervous system towards the effectors. So all this needs energy. So energy is obtained from respiration. So in this way, the energy which we get from respiration, it can be used in different processes. And next, we will discuss the different types of respiration. Two types of respirations are there: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration, when oxygen is required or oxygen is present, food is broken down with the help of this oxygen, or the oxidation of food takes place. At that time, we say that this is aerobic respiration. When oxygen is not present, but organisms also respire, that is called as anaerobic respiration, without oxygen and with oxygen. So these are the two types of respiration. First of all, we will discuss the equation for aerobic respiration. Breakdown of food substance in the presence of oxygen into carbon dioxide and water with the release of energy. Already discussed this. Now we will C6H12O6 plus 6 oxygen molecules. Aerobic respiration, many steps are involved into it. We can say in aerobic respiration, there are so many steps which are involved into. The main steps are glycolysis, the link reaction, Krebs cycle, and oxidative phosphorylation. So these are the four steps which are involved in the formation of this carbon dioxide and water molecule. And as a result of this, different, you can say, the reactions are many steps or sub-steps. 38 molecules of ATP are obtained. That is in the glycolysis, link reaction, then Krebs cycle, and oxidative phosphorylation. So these steps are involved in the formation of this 38 ATP molecules. Carbon dioxide, release of carbon dioxide and water. So it means one molecule of glucose is broken down with the help of 6 molecules of oxygen into 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 6 molecules of water with the release of 38 molecules of ATP. Lots of energy is released during this aerobic respiration. Now, anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration, when there is oxygen not available. When oxygen is not available, then glucose is broken down if it is taking place in our muscles. Without oxygen, glucose is broken down into lactic acid and small amount of energy. Only 2 ATP molecules are released during anaerobic respiration. So anaerobic respiration is that respiration in which oxygen is not available and glucose molecule is broken down into lactic acid with the release of only 2 ATP molecules. And this reaction, when lactic acid formation takes place in our muscles. Now, anaerobic respiration in yeast. In yeast, you can say the glucose is changed into alcohol. Anaerobic respiration is also called as fermentation. Because during this fermentation, the glucose in the absence of oxygen is changed into alcohol and into carbon dioxide. So this is called as the process of fermentation. So this is the equation for anaerobic respiration in yeast, or the equation for fermentation. in the next slide, we will discuss how or why lactic acid is built up in muscles. Students already told you that 4 steps are involved in the process of aerobic respiration. So what happens when we exercise? You know, the aerobic respiration should take place in our body. We inhale oxygen. We are respiring all the time. We are inhaling oxygen is entering into our body. But sometimes what happens when we are doing a strenuous exercise? When we perform a strenuous exercise, so at that time, our breathing becomes very fast. Our breathing becomes very fast. For to breathe fast, we need more oxygen. We need more oxygen to our working muscles. Muscles, you know, when we are doing exercise, our muscles are moving very fastly. They want to get more oxygen. The body prefers to channel most of its energy using aerobic methods, meaning with oxygen. Some circumstances, so it happens when it happens when we are doing exercise or we are doing any other work which requires energy. So at that time, our body needs more energy, and but at that time when our breathing is very fast, the energy becomes deficient. Our body is unable to get more energy. So what happens at that time? There is the deposition of lactic acid into our muscles. So I would like to read these words as well. This energy comes in other cases, the working muscles generate energy anaerobically. Our body start respiring anaerobically. This energy comes from glucose through a process called glycolysis. I have already told you during the process of glycolysis, uh, energy is, you can say, released, in which glucose is broken down or metabolized into a substance called pyruvate. Pyruvate is, you can say, the end product of process of glycolysis, and then pyruvate is further it will enter into the link reaction, and from link reaction it will enter into the Krebs cycle, and then from Krebs cycle there will be, at the end, there will be the formation of uh, water molecule, and carbon dioxide formation will take place. So what happens at the end of the glycolysis? The formation of pyruvate is there. When the body has plenty of oxygen, pyruvate is shuttled to an aerobic pathway to be further broken down for more energy. It happens normally, but when oxygen is limited, when there is deficiency of oxygen, when we are fastly breathing, the body temporarily converts pyruvate into substance called lactate. Pyruvate is converted into lactate. Otherwise, the pyruvate should be converted into other products. But when body is respiring anaerobically, at that time, pyruvate is converted into lactic acid, and lactic acid is stored in different parts of our body because the working of our muscles is continued. So keep on working these muscles, the body is respiring anaerobically. So this lactic acid, which is produced as a result of anaerobic respiration, it is accumulated into our muscles. But from muscles, this lactic acid, after about 24 hours, this lactic acid is sent. This lactic acid, which was accumulated, it is sent towards the liver, where it is broken down into carbon dioxide and water, or it is again changed into pyruvate, or pyruvate further, you can say, oxidized by using oxygen into the other products at the end. Again, it will be changed into carbon dioxide and water. So many sub-steps are involved during this process of aerobic respiration, and only lactic acid produced in the muscle, because when there is anaerobic respiration taking place by the body. So we will move in the next slide. Here you can say a summary of anaerobic respirations in muscles when we are respiring fastly in case we are doing an exercise. At that time, insufficient oxygen is available or deficiency of oxygen is there. At that time, glucose is changed into lactic acid, a small amount of energy. Then this lactic acid is deposited or accumulated in our muscles and fatigue takes place. Fatigue, pain, cramming, all this takes place when lactic acid accumulated. And after 24 hours, or it takes 24 hours that our muscles get rid of this lactic acid. So at that time, the amount of oxygen which they use is called as oxygen depth. To move towards the recovery phase. Next, this is the actually in your syllabus, the new topic is inserted, that is the new word for it, excess post-exercise oxygen, excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, which is abbreviated as EPOC. EPOC, EPOC is the total volume of oxygen that is consumed after exercise. After completing your exercise, the amount of oxygen which is consumed by our body and which enables the body to fully recover, or you can say the amount of oxygen after exercise, the amount of oxygen which is needed to recover the body, that is you can say to its pre-exercise phase. Body was normal, so travel from normal towards the normal after the exercise. Energy, oxygen is needed. And the oxygen which we use for this purpose, it also includes the oxygen depth. And oxygen depth is which is oxygen that is used to restore muscle ATP and PCN to remove lactic acid from the body. Lactic acid which is deposited during this exercise, it should be removed. So to remove this lactic acid, oxygen is required. And then it also includes X post exercise or EPOC also includes the oxygen, which is required to keep breathing and heart rates elevated and the oxygen restored to muscle myoglobin. So it means all body work function regarding inhaling of oxygen takes place with the help of this. This word actually cover all these statements: oxygen depth, or the oxygen which is used after the recovery, or the oxygen which is used to keep on breathing, or the oxygen which is used to, you can say, to keep healthy our heart during all this phase of exercise, or till the recovery of the our respiratory system. Next is a graph which can represent all this. That is in this phase, you can say exercise start. When we start exercise, what is happening? Oxygen requirement is increasing. Oxygen consumption or oxygen requirement is increasing till the exercise is ended. The next phase is called as the recovery phase, or you can say EPOC. What is this? There is a short-term increase in calories expanded in the EPOC phase. This is EPOC phase. This is EPOC phase. Okay. This is also the period where physiological adaptations to exercise. Actually, this is recovery and this is this area represents an increased post-exercise demand for oxygen. More oxygen is required over here. Now we will move towards the next type, which is oxygen depth. Already told you about oxygen depth, but again, a little bit more. Lactic acid has built up during anaerobic respiration needs to be broken down. Then the body will become normal when it will be broken down. So it is sent towards the liver, and in liver, it will be broken down into carbon dioxide and water. Or lactic acid, again, lactic acid will be converted into pyruvate. Or then pyruvate will enter into the process after glycolysis, and at the end pyruvate is also changed into carbon dioxide and water, and 38 molecules of ATP are released at the end of the aerobic respiration. So in this way, our body get rid of lactic acid. Okay, students, it was all about the respiratory system. Please like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much for watching my video.